Today on the Daily Scoop podcast from the Scoop News Group. The VA's CIO calls for a bigger budget to draw better cyber talent. And the State Department reveals a new interagency task force on detecting AI-generated content. It's Thursday, November 21st, 2024. Welcome to the Daily Scoop podcast, where you'll hear the latest news and trends facing government leaders. I'm the host of the Daily Scoop podcast, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for joining me. Here are today's top headlines. The Department of Veterans Affairs top IT official told House lawmakers Wednesday that a larger budget and the ability to pay certain government workers more would improve the agency's cybersecurity posture. Kurt DelBene, the VA's Assistant Secretary for Information and Technology and Chief Information Officer, called during a House Veterans Affairs subcommittee hearing for the entire federal government to take steps to increase the salaries of tech workers who are classified as GS 2210 under the Office of Personnel Management. The CIO said that existing salaries are too low to be competitive, even with incentives and benefits, and that the VA continues to face challenges in recruiting and retaining professionals with cyber expertise. Legislators on both sides of the aisle voiced concerns about a meager 1% budget allocation designated to the VA cybersecurity operations. DelBene, who agreed that the department's current budget is not adequate, said the VA currently has 360 information security officers to evaluate all of the VA's systems, while he said that the ideal number of ISOs from the staffing model would be over 600, but that, quote, "we don't have the funding." In other news, the State Department on Wednesday announced a new government-wide task force focused on content authentication. The group, which includes more than 20 federal agencies, is supposed to streamline the government's international outreach on content authentication, which could help combat technology like deepfakes. The task force is charged with working with foreign governments and partners on developing the technical standards and capacities to detect this category of content, according to a statement shared with FedScoop ahead of the announcement. The goal is to make it easier for the public and governments to understand when digital materials have been created or altered using AI. A department spokesperson said that, quote, "the U.S. government is committed to seizing the promise and managing the risks of AI. Improving digital content transparency measures at home and abroad is a critical component of that effort." The spokesperson added that digital content transparency is vital to strengthening public confidence in the integrity of official government digital content, reducing the risks and harms posed by AI-generated or manipulated media, and countering digital information manipulation. For more news at the intersection of the federal government and technology, visit fedscoop.com. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Scoop podcast, available on all podcast platforms. If you've already rated the podcast on your platform of choice, thanks so much. High ratings and good reviews of the show help more people to find it. The Daily Scoop podcast is a production of the Scoop News Group in Washington, D.C. Adam Butler and Carlin Fisher help put the show together, and the entire Scoop News Group team contributes. We'll be back tomorrow with more top headlines. Until then, I'm your host, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for listening.